Good morning, everyone. It's Monday. I just got done dropping my children off at school, and now I'm coming home to get ready for the day, but we're gonna be vlogging, so I thought I'd start by saying good morning. Here's my messy entryway with my children's scooters, but we did our shipping. There it is. Isn't that a beautiful sight? Monday morning packages. My dog. Good morning, Sophie. There's a bag of shoes. Don't ask me. Hi. Hi. You guys, the grossest thing just happened to me. I was drinking this. It's not expired. It's good until the end of the month. And I was like, God, this tastes weird. Yeah, this is a giant thing of mold in there. So yeah, that happened. In case you're wondering. Ugh, it's like the grossest. Look at this. It's like green mold in the... Oh, I was like vomiting after I saw that. So anyway, that's my happy Monday coffee. Okay, now that I've had my weird coffee situation, I'm drinking one of Joe's Rockstars now because I do need caffeine, and I'm headed to bar right now. So I'm gonna go to bar 3. I'm very excited. I love it. I took 5 classes last week. I'm gonna try again for 5 this week. And I actually won a membership to Mega Burn, which is like this really crazy Pilates thing. There was an Instagram contest, and I asked you guys to tag me, and you did, and I ended up winning a free month of this Pilates, which is really expensive, so I don't know if I'll be able to do it after the free month, but I'm super pumped to try it. They have these, they're like the Pilates machines, but they're like extreme ones, I guess. I've never done Pilates. That's my story. So bar today, maybe Mega Burn later too. I really want to try it, and there's a class I want to take tonight, so I might exercise twice today. Riveting reseller content, I know. Behind this door is my office, where I will be listing later today, and you'll see that too. Let's go. All right, time for bar class, which is right here. It's gonna be a blast. It's gonna be very painful, but I love it. There it is, bar 3. I just got done at bar. It was hard, but I had to get ready, get dressed, and look like a normal person. Used some wipes, got cleaned, because I have therapy right now. So talk about that a little bit once I'm in the car maybe, but I have to go to therapy. Some crazy stuff has been happening in my life. If you've been following me on Instagram, you kind of know about it, but today is a big day. It's a new therapist, and I'm gonna see how it goes. Okay, we did therapy. It was the least fun, but we did it. Proud of myself. Now I'm gonna go home. I have to get Des in an hour from school. I have to edit a video for B&G trading. I have to list stuff. I have a lot to do today. You guys ready for some reseller content? I know that's why you're really here. I'm sorry. I'm in line to get food right now, but like there's a huge line for car washes. It's 1:24 on a Monday, and we live in Oregon. It's gonna rain like any second. There's like 10 or 11 cars wrapped around to get a car wash today. So what's happening? Someone tell me. All right, I've picked up little man from school. Hi. And now he wants to scoot around outside because it's actually sunny in Oregon. Maybe that's why people were getting car washes. It's supposed to rain like the rest of the week though, so who really knows? I have to go finish editing up a video and get that loaded for B&G trading, and then get Delilah. Usually I don't like to work after I get Delilah, but today is definitely going to be a work day because I need to get stuff listed. More footage of my dog. We had a holiday party this weekend, so we saw like a lot of the pretty greenery up from it. I love it. I love Christmas. Sophie, do you want to come inside? So this is the current state of my office, you guys. It's crazy in here. Yeah, so a few things. I am still finishing up the B&G stuff. I have most of this already photographed. I just have to list it and then finish up all the videos for it, which isn't a huge deal. But I also have other commitments. This is a collaboration right there, that box. That is a ThredUp mystery box that I need to unbox on YouTube. And then also, if you guys watched on Instagram, recently last week, I was gifted probably about $15,000 worth of clothing from a woman who had a shopping problem and she needed to get rid of the stuff. She's in therapy for it, and she basically reached out to me and lives in my area and said, hey, I need to get rid of this stuff. I don't necessarily want any money for it. I just need to get it out of my house. Do you want it? There are some fry boots and like Madewell shirts. And I was like, yeah, I'll take that. Like, thank you so much. That's so kind of you. But when I got to her house, so here's just some of the shoes. There's like 60 pairs in total. They're all very high end. So like these are Trippin. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. Trippin, which is like very expensive. There's 4 pair of Trippin shoes in here. These boots right here are a fancy brand. They sell between $700 and $800 online, used, like in the secondhand market. There's just so much, you guys. So as you can see down there, those are brand new fry boots. There's multiple pair of these tall fry boots. And then the clothing is also just like, oh my gosh. So yeah, I want to do a haul video for those and get those all listed this week too. So I have a lot to process. Obviously, I'm not sourcing. But first things first, right now I want to get the B&G video done, sent over to him for approval, and then uploaded for you guys. Then I have 2 other B&G videos to finish up. I'll send those over for approval and then get them up over the next couple weeks. And then I need to film the collaboration video, I need to film the ThredUp video, and I need to film the crazy haul video. So that's where I'm at with YouTube. I have a lot on my plate to get done, and I will be getting those done. And I really want my office to just be clean again. That's like the #1 thing I want. It's just like my office to be cleared out this week. So you guys are going to vlog with me, and you're going to see if I'm capable of doing that. So I just filmed 2 separate hauls, the pant haul for B&G and the shirt haul. And I actually attached my camera to this rolling rack. There's my ring light behind the scenes. And I'm uploading a B&G video to YouTube right now. So I should have all of my B&G videos done besides the wrap up, which I'll film in a month. I should have them all edited and uploaded and scheduled today, which is the goal. And then that also, well, today and tomorrow, because I need to finish listing some of the stuff, but I'm excited to get that done because I really, really, really want to move on to all of this crazy stuff that I got. You guys, look at this. It's so exciting. There's like a lot of laggin'-looky type of stuff in here, laggin'-looky. But here's an example of, I'm just gonna grab this out of here. This is the kind of stuff that, come here, where are you? This is the kind of stuff that this wonderful woman bought. Also, she's extremely kind. So this is a tag. Never heard of it, right? But look at the price tag. Come on. Focus. It's really not gonna focus for you guys. Anyway, this price tag says $910 and there's 2 of them. So yeah, that's exciting. And a lot of these brands I haven't heard of before. So it's like brand new bolos, which is so cool and so exciting. And I just cannot wait to film this for you guys. There's things like, well, this video uploads, there's things like this Michael Kors leather jacket that still has the tags on it. And there's 2 of them, different sizes. There's a medium and a large a lot of things she bought multiples of in different sizes. Like there's that one. Here's another good. So there's these Converse from John Varvotas. So you can see she bought the women's size 10. She also bought a woman's size 9. Hi, you're back. And they're brand new. There's a ton of stuff like that. So yeah, I'll tell that whole story. She's incredibly kind, amazing woman. I'm incredibly lucky to know her. I was so incredibly thankful and blessed to have received all of this stuff. And I can't wait to tell the story. It's so hard for me to not tell it right now, but I got to get back to working on these videos. Joe went to go pick up Delilah. He actually woke up. He went to go pick up Delilah with Des, and they have to go to the grocery store. So I have like a couple hours of time to really bust out as much work as possible. Just checking in, it's 4:42, and I have listed most of the jeans from the lot. I'm actually just using stock photos for all of them. You'll see in the video, I kind of explain it. My neighbor stopped by, she brought me a cookie, like a giant gingerbread cookie. It looks delicious, that was nice. And Joe's still out grocery shopping with both children, so hopefully he's okay. It's 5:45. Still working on listings. I've moved on to shorts, and I thought I'd show you guys what I was doing. So I have this pair of Susanna shorts. I am looking up the style number and just listing them with stock photos. So this is going to be over here. I will just type in Susanna, and then the style number is, if you guys don't know, I'll show you where they are on this tag. 40557MI. And there they are. Images. This is going to be it. Hopefully we can find them at Nordstrom Rack as well, but you get my point. There's the shorts that I have in my hands right now. Here they are. This is the style number right there. And we will just list them with these stock photos. I'll put some measurements in, and we're gonna do a test run with some of this new tag stuff and see if that works. Dinner's almost done. We have a non-negotiable to eat dinner together as a family every night. Joe's making chicken. I think we're just having like chicken salads. So that's almost done. I will go out there and eat with the family. There was not a lot of family time today. Not my favorite type of day, but these days do happen. I'm not perfect, and we try and balance out our time. I didn't really work at all yesterday, and that means today got to push myself to the limit. Dinner time?
Yeah.
That's very exciting. What are we having?
Chicken and salad.
Thank you.
Why?
I'm just curious.
It's ready. Delilah's getting the table cleaned. Des is getting himself washed up. So.
I'm vlogging today.
Very good. I'm listening to tiki music.
Oh, I like this. Let's eat. Are you excited for dinner, Des?
Yeah.
Are you excited for dinner, Yaya? Yeah? How was school today?
Good.
Yeah? What'd you do?
Nothing.
Nothing at all? Nothing? What'd you do at school, Des?
I had this assembly.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about that.
It was like these people came and they're known as Grupo Condor.
Oh, yeah?
Two of the people were I think from Mexico.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Did you learn anything?
I learned about like instruments. Yeah.
Yeah. Fun.
I learned some new words.
What?
I forgot the names, but we learned some new words that all start with R.
Oh, that's exciting.
Like and. That's one.
Oh, and does start with an A, right? Are you ready for dinner? Des, are you excited? This is like your favorite dinner.
Yeah. Mom? Yeah. Hey, Mom.
Yes.
Can I have my salad with my dinner?
You can have salad, yes.
Can I not have salad?
We'll talk about that.
I don't really like salad.
Then more for me? More for me?
Let's choose bacon with it.
More for you?
Yeah, more for me.
You like salad that much?
You got bacon with it. and
Yeah, I have this. I got bacon Caesar salad, and it has croutons, dressing,
I don't really.
and bacon that you have to pour on it.
That sounds very exciting.
That's why I don't want the salad.
You don't have to have the bacon on it, Delilah.
No, I just don't want the salad because I don't like salad.
Gotcha.
No, Kristen in it with Eli.
Cool.
We're eating apple pie a la mode for dessert tonight. It's Joe's birthday apple pie from our friends.
It's very delicious.
Who's a professional baker. Oh, she has a degree in baking, so it's very, very good.
It's so good.
It's at school today.
What is it?
It's a fox with a skunk.
I love it so much.
And the fox is eating blackberries.
It's eating a blackberry?
3 of them. And there's blackberries all around the trees. And it's nighttime with stars all around.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. Can I hang it up in my office?
Yeah.
It's painting devils as a hat. Oh, that? Yeah. I thought, what happened? It was on my head. You put it there. Thank you for my hats. I like it.
Almost selling to your food.
Oh, that's not good. All right, folding some laundry and then putting the babies to bed. Very exciting stuff, I know. Today was a good day overall. I have a lot of work to do still, so it's just after 7. I'm gonna put Des and Delilah to bed. Delilah goes to bed first. I'll lay with her, read with her for a little bit. And then Des kind of goes to bed on his own at this point. It's almost 10. It's wild. It's a wild, wild ride. And then I'll get back to work, probably work until about midnight tonight, to be honest. I have so much I need to just get done. I have all that fancy stuff that I really, really want to get listed, but I have other commitments to do before that. So, need to knock it out. I'm back to work, but I'm also snacking. And you guys, if you don't know about this, Trader Joe's everything but the bagel dip. You're welcome. I'm eating it with crackers. It's super good with veggies. Still working in my very messy office, but I just photographed these few items. There wasn't a ton that I couldn't just use stock photos for, and that's exciting. So that cut down my time of listing dramatically with this liquidation lot. I will keep you posted. Watch the video and you can see how it goes, but I want to continue to do liquidations just because it saves me so much time from having to source. So I want to be able to mix that in kind of with my bin strips in 2020, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. I have to see how these ones sell and all of that good stuff before I invest in them. It's story time. So I'm finishing up listing, but I wanted to kind of talk to you guys about what's been happening in my life. I know this story will be interesting to some of you, and if you're not into like my personal life, you're just here for reselling, skip forward because I have a story to tell. It's quite the story. Get your, water, your tea, whatever it is that you're drinking, have a drink. Now, to understand this story, you kind of have to start at the beginning. And the beginning would be my childhood. My childhood was a mess. We were raised in extreme poverty. My mother definitely had some mental illnesses that we're not taking care of, as well as some drug issues. And she was not always around. My maternal half-sister, so my mother's half-sister, Lori, she raised me. So Lori raised me. We had moved into a trailer on my sister's great aunt. So my great aunt Lois, my sister's great aunt, she was not blood related to me. My sister's great aunt Lois's property. Lois lived in a trailer, kind of, it was like half burnt down and they rebuilt back onto it. It was very, 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 like hillbilly status. Dirt road, the whole deal. So, anyway, we're just gonna call her Auntie. Auntie Lois lived next door to me and my sister and my mother. And my mom was gone pretty consistently. My sister was 11 years older than me, and she was really the one who raised me. My mother was in and out of relationships, all of that. So there was a lot of childhood trauma and negative things. Whenever I would ask about my biological father, who I'd never even seen a photo of, I would get the same story of, I don't know, at first, until I was about 8 or 9, my mom and my sister told me, like, he's dead, he died. And then my aunt, my sister's aunt, said, you gotta stop telling her that. He's alive. He left when you were 3 months old, tried to take you with him on his motorcycle. I took you off the motorcycle. He's not dead. He left. And that was it. Like, that's all I ever knew. Whenever I'd ask about it, it would just be like, we don't know, stop asking about it. It was not a topic I was allowed to discuss as a child. I remember asking my mom about it and her just crying and being like, go and ask your sister. Like, it just was not a subject. They never mentioned his name. He was a ghost. So as I got older, I would randomly like just Google the name on my birth certificate and kind of look for someone in the right age range, from the right city, sort of thing. Nothing ever came up. Like, nothing ever came up. Recently I had a friend whose father passed away, but she didn't know him. So we have like the same similar background. She didn't know her father growing up either. And she had found him and they didn't have a good relationship. And she kind of like expressed her regret with that. And so when that happened, I was like, I should look for, my biological father. I'm just going to Google him. Nothing comes up ever, but like, I'm just going to, I'll go on Facebook. I'll put his name in. I'll do a quick Google search. Well, that was different this time. So a man came up that definitely fit the right profile. Oh, I thought that was gonna fall. I like jumped in my little moment of silence there. Definitely fit the right profile of being the right age range, the right name, from the right city, and also like there's like pictures of his house, and it was like, oh, that's exactly how I grew up. Like, that's super, super hillbilly, white trash. Like, that's how I grew up. That looks like a perfect fit. That's probably my father. So I didn't say anything to this man. I just sent him I just friend requested him. Like, I just friend requested him, not a word, nothing. Like, and the dude, like 3 or 4 days later, the day after Thanksgiving, I think it was, a couple days after Thanksgiving, wrote me and was like, oh my God, Nicole, like, my daughter, I was forced to leave when you were a child. I was told that you weren't mine. Like, I'm so sorry. I love you so much. Just like a whole bunch of stuff. Didn't really like give me any reasoning. It was just like, I'm sitting here crying. Like, he just said all of this stuff that I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Slow down, pause. Yeah, so the next day, because this was in the middle of the night when I saw the messages, the next day, I had lurked his Facebook profile. I was not ready to talk to him. I lurked his Facebook profile and I found people with the same last name. And with that last name, I found someone who I was pretty sure was his brother just by reading through the messages. And so I messaged his brother and was like, hey, weird question. Did you know, my mother's name and my birth year? And he was like, yeah, I knew her. Why don't you give me a call? So I call the guy and he is out delivering his newspapers. That's his job. He's delivering newspapers. And he is like, I grew up, my mother was married. You need to know this part of the story. My mother was married for 10 years, almost 11. And she had my sister, who's 11 years older than me, with her first husband, Danny. Danny is his name. I had his first her first husband, Danny. So, my mom and Danny were married for all of that time. And so this guy on the phone is like, yeah, like me and my brothers, we grew up with Danny. Like we grew up with him. He was our great friend. I was a long-term truck driver. And so I was out of town and I came back and I was like, why is my brother with Melanie? That's my mother's name. That's Danny's girl. And he said he didn't know about me though. Like he didn't know, he was gone when everything happened. And so, anyway, that's what he said on the phone, that he knew Danny and grew up with Danny. And Danny has 3 brothers. So he mentions all the brothers' names, like he's getting all of the info right. And I knew all of these people growing up because that was the family who raised me. Like my last name on my birth certificate is not even the last name I use. I used my sister's last name, and all of her family took me in like I was theirs. Like I call them all like uncles, and my sister's dad would like buy me food and diapers when I was a baby, and he was a horrible human, but like those were the people that I was raised around, so those are the people that I knew, right? So it was just like really surreal to hear him like naming all these people off that I haven't spoken to in years because I've cut that like whole part of my life off. I've not spoken to my mother in 7 years. My half sister I haven't spoken to in years. I basically had to cut out my entire family because they are still living those lifestyles, and that is just something I needed to break the cycle. So, back to my story. You guys still here? Are you still listening to this? I don't know if any of you are going to care about this, but this is the story. So I asked the brother, my uncle, I said, hey, does he have any other kids? Do you have any siblings? And he goes, yeah, he's got a couple. He starts like kind of naming them. Also, like, it's like a lot to shift through on like the way he talks, and so he says their names, and I was like, are you friends with any of them on Facebook? And he says, yeah, I'm friends with the girl. And I was like, okay, I have to go, bye. I just kind of like hung up on him because he wasn't like giving me anything I needed except that. So I go to his Facebook page and I find the girl, so who I assume is my sister, my half sister. My paternal half sister. I go to her page, I find her. She lives very close to where I live, and she seems totally like normal, put together. She has kids, like everything looks good. Like I'm like, yes, like a solid human. Here we go. I got this. So I messaged her and I was like, hey, this sounds weird, but I think we share the same father. I just found him. Here's his name. She writes back immediately and goes, hi, not weird at all. I knew about you and I've searched for you. And I was like, whoa, okay. Well, would you want to talk on the phone? Like, I have a lot of questions. Maybe you can answer them. And she goes, yeah, why don't you give me a call right now? And this is like immediate. Like she was like online when I messaged her. So I call her. She's not in like a good position, actually. She's dealing with some mental health stuff. She's in a facility, and it's just unfortunate from her childhood. Of course. So she kind of tells me that we have there's 6 children altogether. There's 6 of us. Oh, and by the way, I forgot this little tidbit. When I talked to the uncle is like, yeah, I think it was like, I have 9 kids, 28 grandkids, 19 great-great-grandchildren. And I'm just like, whoa. It's like 50 people. That's like 50 people that I just added to my like, it's like a bunch of first cousins. And then my father also just has a ton of siblings. So what I've guesstimated is that I have about 200 first cousins. 200 of them. they might be the most like fertile people. They need to do medical testing because that's a lot. So anyway, I'm on the phone with the sister. Sister says, yeah, we have 6 siblings. 2 of them are homeless on the streets. One they don't know about, they never had any contact with, kind of like me. There's me, who she just found. There's another one that was taken away from my father. There's her. Is that 6 altogether? Yeah, 6 altogether. So sounds like Amy, so she's the oldest. She's like 48. I'm 32. I think she said she was 48. There's a lot to remember here, guys. She is the oldest, and so she kind of like knows all the stuff that's happened. So my father, she says, has been in and out of prison his whole life. He's made some really bad choices. And basically is the type of person that I stand up against every single day. That's like, it's almost ironic that a man like him made me. Like the outspoken feminist, like you gave me half of my DNA, and I'm like the type of person who is so outspoken against men like you. So that's like ironic. That's a weird, hilarious thing in my head. So she tells me all of this stuff, and I'm just like, wow, like there's so much to take in about this man, and like, what am I gonna do next with all of this information? So I had a really bad night. Just trying to process it all, start therapy, still trying to process it all. And in the meantime, I've also talked to a couple people who have given me key details about my childhood that I didn't know. I'm basically an episode of Family Secrets. It's a movie. I'm gonna go ahead and write this movie script, and Hollywood will put it out. So here's what I've gotten so far. There's definitely pieces missing. There's a couple key players in this that I need to talk to still, and then I'm still like, hey, you need to talk to me. You need to tell me what is actually happening here. So first off, I call up Uncle Roy. Now, Uncle Roy is my sister's uncle. He is the baby of the 4 brothers, so Danny's brother. Uncle Roy has been sober for 25 years. This is key because they all have drug issues. One of them is dead, and I think Danny and the other one are still in the streets. So it's key to talk to Roy because he is like the keeper of the family. So I get a hold of Roy, and I'm like, yo, Roy, who? Well, first I just messaged him on Facebook because I haven't talked to him in years, and I was like, hey, I need to talk to you. I found my father, and I have some questions. And he goes, oh, you found him? And I was like, yeah, I did. So that was like, he just like said it out. Like, yeah, we all knew that was your father. And I was like, why didn't you guys tell me? So like, he calls me on the phone. We talk for like an hour. He kind of gives me the real details here. So he says, yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm getting this story wrong. I actually spoke to my sister who raised me before I spoke to Uncle Roy. But let's just keep going with Uncle Roy's story. So Uncle Roy says, yeah, you know, first off, like, let me tell you, like, first things first, Dad is a junkie. And I'm like, yeah, like everyone else in my life growing up. Shocking. Surprise, like, it's not that big of a surprise. Your dad is a junkie. So you need to remember that. And I don't know, like, where he's at right now with his sobriety, but that's, like, first thing first. And I was like, cool, yeah, I got it. My Uncle Roy is a very compassionate person, and he believes that everyone should be forgiven and given a second chance, and he's never given up on anyone in the family. I mean, to this day, he tries to get, like, my sister to talk to her father, who was very abusive. Like, he's always trying to keep the peace and always trying to remember to forgive people. So he's like, you know this, and, you know, any sort of relationship that you're going to have with him, you need to just not have any expectations, and you need to protect your heart. You know, just protect yourself. Try and talk to him, but like, protect yourself. And I was like, you know, that's not bad advice. So he tells me what actually happened is he says, have you ever seen that movie Blow, Nicole? I said, yeah, I've seen that movie. He goes, yeah, well, that was your sister's father. It was basically him. There's a lot of similarities there. So he was one of the biggest cocaine importers in California. And he got taken down by the DEA, and he had to go to prison. So my mom, we like took the fall for as well, because clearly she was not innocent in all this, but whatever, it is what it is. He went to prison. DEA took him out. Apparently he was paying off police officers, like the whole deal. He had a big construction company in our small town and was importing cocaine. Which is just like, wait, what? And I remember as a kid, my sister was telling stories about just like how much money they had, how he would have like just huge wads of cash around the house, and like how crazy her life was before me. But I didn't experience that. I experienced like the pure poverty that came after all that nuts. So Uncle Roy tells me that they all grew up with my father, and they were super, super close. They were, called each other cousins. Their parents were really close. And so when he started dating my mother, it was a slap in the face to Danny, who was in prison and he took the fall for everyone, right? And so my father, and at this point I'd kind of like talked to him on and off a little bit because I was curious about things. I just like messaged him like, hey, what happened? And he tried to say like, if he would have stayed, he wouldn't have survived, and there's people after him, and like all of this stuff that I was like, whatever, dude. But no, Uncle Roy told me that Danny basically took a hit out on him from prison because it was a big slap in the face. He had moved into their house. So he'd moved into my mother's house, which was still her and Danny's house. They were still legally married when all this happened. So they were not divorced yet. They were separated, but they were still married. It was still his house. My father moves in, impregnates my mother. No one's happy about it. So they take a hit out on him, and he basically had to leave town or die. So that's the story of why my father left. And then I talked to my sister, who kind of confirmed everything, and it was like, yeah, I remember like people coming over to the house with a baseball bat and like beating him up, and like it's like all of this nutso stuff that I'm like, whoa, back up. This is crazy. When I talked to my sister, she was like, yeah, I'm so sorry. Like, I lied to you as a kid. I said he was dead. Our mom said we had to say that because she was afraid he would come back for you because he did love you and like he really did care about you. And I'm just like, oh my God. Like, this is like the most crazy story. So anyway, finally kind of like decided it's time to talk to my father on the phone. We had both said some mean things to each other at this point too. So, but my Uncle Roy called my biological father, and they talked. And my Uncle Roy called me, and I was like, yeah, he's sober right now. Like, he's definitely sober. He can tell these things. Like, he's been around it for so long. And he really does want to have like a loving relationship with you. Like, give it a chance. But again, like, no expectations. So called him. I talked to him for 2 hours. It was great. It's the weirdest thing, you guys. Like, the second I heard his voice, it was like the most soothing. I was like, whoa. Like, there was like a thing that happened when I heard his voice, where when I saw his pictures, I didn't expect this voice to come, and then it was the voice, and I was like, oh, this is like, I have a connection to this voice. And that might just sound like the most insane thing, but I swear, like, it was weird. So anyway, it was great, but now I have all of this like anxiety. Definitely am like mourning a little bit about the man that I always hoped he would be versus the man that he actually is, and like Do I give this man a chance, even though he's everything that I am against? How do I deal with that? I definitely have, you know, I have empathy for him, and I understand that he made bad choices. He did say, like, after I had to leave you, when I was there with your mother, like, I was in school, like, I was trying to do good, my life was getting back on track, and then I had to leave you, and I just gave up everything. Like, it was hard. It was the hardest choice that I've ever made, and I really, like, hit, like, rock bottom after that, and I made really bad choices. And, you know, I talked to some friends, and one of them was like, you know, you take someone's kid away, and that's, you take everything away from them when you do that. But at the same time, like, he has other children after me that he didn't take care of. It's like, it's so much stuff. So there is no good answer. I have a lot of guilt for even, like, wanting a relationship with him. When he's clearly not the person. He's like everything that I stand up against. So there's just so much to weed through. And there's even more than I'm like sharing with you right now, but I feel like 25 minutes of me telling a story is enough. So, I had to figure all that out. Going to therapy. I started therapy like the week it happened. So I'm working through this with a therapist. I'm doing my best to really put the tools in my toolbox to figure out what type of relationship I can have with this man, if I want to have a relationship with him, how to deal with my feelings on it. It's very overwhelming. That's all. So, like, that's my story of finding my biological father. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of that. Leave a comment down below. I don't know how to end this. Like, it's just the most. It's the most. So I've been working out a lot, going to therapy, and thankfully I have very, very, very good friends who have dealt with me and my emotional mood swings through all of this. I definitely am mourning. I'm going through a lot of grief. I didn't realize that's what it was until my therapist said, hey, sounds like you're really dealing with grief. And then my friend collaborated with that, and it all makes sense. As a child, I had whenever things were really bad, I would wish that my dad would come and save me, whoever he was. I always thought he would just be like, normal person. But that's not the case. And it's really unfortunate. It's really unfortunate that he made all of these choices, right? And a lot of them he's definitely unable to grasp. Like, you made these choices, and this is why your life is what it is. And I don't know. He's definitely not someone I can ever have around my children. He is a registered sex offender. It's like a lot. There's a lot to deal with this. So I will get through it. And like I said, I am seeing a therapist. I totally believe in therapy and taking care of your mental health. So I'm doing all the things that I need to do. I'm focusing on the positive things in my life, like my work and my family. And I'm just trying to make sure that during this time, I take care of myself. And I allow myself to be vulnerable, and I allow myself to be honest about all of this. And hopefully with me sharing this story, some of you can relate maybe. I don't know. Something good has to come out of this. I really believe that. I'm just not sure what it is yet, but I'll get there. So that's my story. I have like another hour's worth of work to do, but I think I'm just going to wrap this video up now. This is a lot of video for you guys. So I'm going to wrap this video up. I'm going to vlog again tomorrow. There'll be more reselling content tomorrow, I promise. Thank you guys for watching. I am going to try and vlog the rest of the month of December. I really like vlogging. It's fun. And I will talk to you guys again very soon. Good night.